Hey guys, here at my schoolhouse now. Just finished MCT a few weeks ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys an update. I'm actually, in this video, I'm gonna go through the entire MCT schedule for SOI West as far as Kilo Company was concerned. I'm not sure if it's different in other companies or if you guys are gonna get fast-tracked or anything of that nature, but I'm just gonna say my experience. And I'm gonna read out the schedule that I went ahead and wrote down because they had the schedule open for us, and I figured why not just share it with people who are curious at what we do here at SOI West. So gonna go ahead and go through it. I'll give y'all a little bit of an update of like what's going on with me here now at the end of the video, but I'm just gonna go ahead and go through MCT West just for any of the new guys who just finished boot camp and they're curious about what they're gonna have to do on their boot leave. So let me go and go through it. So A1 through A3, those are your first 3 days. The first day is just a little bit of a like a little bit of a check-in. You basically just say your name and EDI-PI like 8 different times throughout the day. You eat chow, you situate yourself in your little wall lockers, and you do get some like nice big old wall lockers. And it's not bad. Pretty cool thing you'll notice right away is you can shower whenever you want. You have to do everything hygiene related after lights. That applies throughout the entirety of MCT at SOI West. I liked it. Some people didn't. It is what it is. Day 2, you take your urinalysis and then you go ahead and do your initial performance assessment. So urinalysis, you've done it before. You're just gonna pee in a cup and then they'll take it. Pretty simple. As far as the initial performance assessment, it's this little test to see what you retain from boot camp. Don't worry about it if you fail it. It doesn't matter. It's just for stats that they get, just to see how well equipped you were at the beginning of the cycle and how well equipped you are at the end of the cycle. I'll get to the tests throughout MCT later on. But know that there's a test at the beginning, and if you fail it, it's not a big deal. It's just for stats that they need for whatever reason. I'm pretty sure some people failed it, but we never heard about it again. I think it's just for stats. And later that night, probably going to be a long night because you're going to get your rifles issued, and it takes forever for all of your platoons in your company to finish up. My company had 3 platoons, and it took us a long time. We got to bed at like, I want to say like 22 or 2300. It was a long night. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much it for the night. You have to, I'm not sure if it was that night, but we ended up attaching our RCOs and our PECs that night, I believe. I can't remember, I'm pretty sure. And then they have you put some chicken wire on it. So that takes a while. And I think they also zero your weapon that night, just with the little, what is that thing called? The culminator, I believe. Collimator? I don't know what it's called. But it's like this weird little thing that they stick in the end of the barrel and they just zero your RCO. After that, then you'll go to supply and you'll get your main pack, and you get like a whoopee and sleeping system and all the basic stuff that you probably had at boot camp too. So not bad. And then you'll go back to the squad bay, put all that stuff under your rack, and then you'll go to sleep for the night. Pretty easy day, honestly. You'll be carrying all the weight at once, so it might be a little overwhelming at first, but you'll carry heavier weight throughout the cycle. So it's a little intimidating, but honestly, the hikes, I'll talk about them in a bit. Then after that, you have T1. You have 2 classes that day. It's going to be on optimizing human performance. It's this class on like going over the basic movements like twisting, turning, bending, stuff like that. Basically just talking about how you need to stretch and warm up before and after exercises, stuff like that. It's a pretty cool class. If you pay attention, it's worth it. You'll be tested on it anyway, so I suggest you pay attention. After that, you get a class on combat orders. So I don't know, it's just this format of like different kind of reports and different kind of orders that you'll receive, and just how to read them and how to like derive meaning from them. You probably had a little bit of experience with with combat orders in the Crucible. Probably not that much. I'm not sure if Paris Island had any, but I know that San Diego, when you got to Camp Pendleton to do your Crucible, I know that you had a few like little examples of combat orders, but it's not very much or very like profound, so you probably didn't pay too much attention to it. So don't worry about that. Combat orders is not too bad. Oh yeah, and before I keep talking about the classes, even if you don't retain any information from these classes, do not sleep in the class. I mean, that should be a given, right? You're talking to NCOs, but regardless, don't sleep in the classes. The combat instructors will find ways to make you pay for it, so don't do it. Especially as far as phones go. Another thing, like I said, or I don't know if I said it, but you get your phones taken at the beginning of the cycle, and you can earn them back throughout the cycle. If you fall asleep in classes, it gets pretty hard to earn your phones back for the whole platoon. Also, don't ask about getting your phone back, because that's a surefire way of saying, oh, well, now you're not getting your phone back because you asked for it. So it's a whole game. Honestly, if you don't get your phones the whole cycle, whatever. It's a month long. Anyway, T2 is a class on employing C4I. I think it's stuff over radios and also like smokes and signals and stuff like that. It's actually a pretty cool class, but I'm a little biased because I'm in like the comms like space, so I thought it was pretty cool, but you might not. You might think it's super boring. And then you get a class on conducting scouting. It's basically teaching you how to like do hasty searches and basically just like searching and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. You'll get like a little student knowledge with all the formats and stuff that you got to know for the test, but the actual practical applications, your combat instructors will teach you. It's pretty cool. T3, you'll get a class on employing a medium machine gun, and you'll do some weapon maintenance. So you will be shooting an M240 Bravo at the end of the cycle, but also on the third week, you'll be shooting an M240 Bravo. On the third week, you'll be shooting blanks, and on the fourth week, you'll be shooting live rounds. So that's why they start teaching you pretty early. The machine guns, you can mess them up, so they try to teach you really early how to not mess them up. There's like a hands-on class that they do where you like actually practice with some ditties, and you like this like push-pull safe, all these like weird little ditties that you have to remember to make sure you don't actually mess up the machine gun, because there's like a mechanism in there. If you pull it, if you rack the bolt back on safe, it can actually mess up the sear pretty bad. So the instructors are huge on that. On T4, you have your first hike. So T4 is the most dreaded day for most people because you do the 10K. A lot of people tell you when you get in, because there's these little moments where you can talk to the graduating company, and they're usually going to tell you like, oh, the 10K is so much worse than the 15K. And to that, I don't necessarily disagree with, but don't let them scare you. The hikes, in my opinion, weren't that bad. A lot of the females from Paris Island, because they haven't been used to the hills and mountains at Camp Pendleton, they got slayed pretty hard. They still passed, but they were struggling quite a bit. And they fell out pretty hard, but they still completed it. Some people fell out completely and failed the hike, but you know, I think they still passed through. I don't think that they got held back or recycled or anything like that. I know that there was a girl who failed both hikes and she still graduated with us, so I don't know. But don't worry too hard about the hikes. They're a little bit of a slay, but you know, you'll make it. You know, you graduated the hardest part of, well, not the hardest part of your Marine Corps career, but your boot camp was more physically demanding than MCT will be. I'll put it that way. Some people might disagree with that, but I think it's like that. But you're doing this 10K hike to a range. Now, your first range is going to be, let me think. It's LFAM 706, I believe it's called. I think it stands for Live Fire and Movement Range 706. I don't know. The acronym is not that important. But you'll hike up there, and then on the first night, you'll all zero your rifles. So you'll shoot for like a cycle. You do a dry run first, so you're not like super confused. Don't stress about that. Before I go into the procedures, one thing about ranges that all of y'all who are super curious about MCT should know: if you pose a like range safety like hazard, the CIs can grab you. They can physically touch you and throw you or like drag you or whatever they need to do to make sure you're not a safety violator anymore, because there are people actively moving around on the range, so they need to make sure nobody's like in danger of getting shot. Something to keep in mind. But that night you'll do a 0, you'll do a dry run, and then you'll get your safety brief, and then you'll actually shoot. So you'll do it in waves. You'll shoot, and then if your stuff is good, your coach will say, hey, you're good to go. Go ahead and check in with the personnel, and you'll get checked for brass and all the like bullets and stuff like that, and you'll get cleared to go sit on your main pack for a second, and then later on in the day you'll set up for the next day. But yeah, you'll keep shooting for as long as you need to zero your rifle. There are some people who had to shoot for like 2 hours straight because their rifles are just crazy, and they had to go get like a different rifle because their rifle was just, I don't know, it was zeroed properly, the RCO, but the rifle was like, it was doing weird stuff. Like there was this one kid who put his rifle on semi and would straight up shoot like automatically. It was weird. Like he would hold down the trigger and it would just keep shooting. It was like a fully automatic rifle. And when they actually broke it down to check out what was happening, there was like a bunch of mud in the trigger housing group. It was crazy. But if your rifle just sucks, they'll reissue you a new one because they have rifles on standby, and you'll just shoot with that rifle for the tables. After the 0, you sleep in the field for that night, and then you'll shoot table 3 and 4. Now, table 3 and 4 is pretty cool. I believe we did table 3 during boot camp. Yes, we did. We did table 3 during boot camp. I believe it was at the beginning of the Crucible. I can't remember exactly, but I know we shot table 3 during the Crucible, I believe. I just said I know, but whatever. You shoot table 3 during boot camp. You remember that, like, you crouch and then you stand up and then you prone. It's that stuff. You like get behind cover and you shoot at like unknown distance. That's what it's called. It's unknown distance. It's not that crazy. You just shoot an even target and it bobs down. And as long as you make them bob down, you pass. I mean, my instructor wasn't even watching me. Like, I hit every one, but they just said, all right, you're good, go. So, I mean, there were some people who failed. I don't know how, but, you know, not that big a deal. If you fail, you get recycled. Not like to the next cycle. Like, you just go back and you shoot again. It's not that serious. If you fail a range, don't freak out. Table 4 is the same thing, except you actually shoot at night. You have these like MVDs. They're like, I hate them so much. So you put a Kevlar on, and there's this little like device on the front, and you clamp it on. They call them rhinos and elbows, but you clamp them on and you put the NVD on there. It goes over one eye. I believe it's your non-firing eye. Yeah, non-firing eye, because you're gonna look. Wait, I can't remember which eye it was, honestly. I did my non-dominant eye, but the whole point of the NVD, right? Your PECT is like this little like laser sight, and it's like man, what is it? It's like it's not visible to the human eye, right? But through your NVD, I think it just stands for night vision device, you can actually see the laser. So you're going to be aiming with that laser. Is pretty much what it is. Pretty cool. Yeah, I did fine. I did about the same with the NVD without it, so it wasn't bad. And then after that, you sleep after setting up the range for table 5. Table 5, I believe it was a fire and move. So you did failure to stops, speed reloads, box drills, and headshots, I believe. Yeah, I believe that was it. I believe. I can't exactly remember. I believe that was it. Headshots, box drills, failure stops. That sounds right. So you did those, and between these like yard lines, as they would say fire and move, you would start moving, like you would start stepping when they said move with your weapon on safe. And then when they said fire and move, you would click it on the semi, and then you would fire. If you were at all like out of line with the Marine to the right or left of you, your instructor would either grab you to slow you down, or like start gently pushing you to say, hey, speed up. It's pretty cool. Obviously, table 6 is the same thing, but at night. So easy stuff. Don't stress about the tables. Not bad. The only thing that sucks about the tables is that they're a little bit confusing, and setting up the ranges is annoying, and wearing your flak with sappies for hours standing in line sucks. I'm not gonna lie. You will get some heat rash on your shoulders. Straight up. I'm not gonna lie. And then before you head back to your squad base from the LFAM 706, you will get a class on conducting fire and movement. So fire and movement is probably the most dangerous table you'll do. It's at the end of the cycle. It's basically just like buddy rushing as a fire team, but with live rounds. You do them with blanks during the during your field exercise on week 3, but on the final week you do it with live rounds. So the CIs are super serious about you taking this seriously. They don't want to get shot. They don't want you to shoot other Marines. It's kind of a scary tale, I'm not gonna lie. But just pay attention to what the instructors are telling you. You're gonna do dry run after dry run after dry run, even before you do blanks, because that's how serious it is. So take that range super seriously. After you do the fire and movement class, you'll go and do the 15K hike back. Now, the 15K hike, a lot of people will say it's easier. Some people thought it was worse. Most of it's downhill, so honestly, it's kind of a given it's going to be easier. Whatever. You're going to come back, you're going to smell awful because you've been in the field all week. You're going to be tired, you're going to be slain, whatever. You're going to get back to squad bay. They're going to give you about like an hour to hygiene. It's going to be a nice time. And then after you're done, you're going to go do a class on rope suspension. So you're literally just going to tie ropes around this stuff. You're going to be like, wow, I can't believe I can tie these ropes. They're really cool ropes. I've never heard of like most of the knots that they want you to use, but after doing it, I still use some to this day. So pretty cool. Highly suggest you pay attention to that class, because knowing how to tie knots is like a pretty cool skill to have. After that, you'll have professional study time and weapon gear maintenance on T9. All of your Saturdays are just going to be like study time and weapons maintenance days. If you're good, you'll get your phones back on those days. They say you can possibly get libo. I don't believe it. I don't think they would even give you libo. They say you can earn it, but I don't believe it. Most people say libo is a myth at MCT. I think that's the truth. And then what? On Sunday, T10, there is the written exam, the first written exam. All the classes, so optimize human performance, combat orders, employ C4I, conduct scouting, conduct fire and movement, conduct rope suspension, and employ medium machine gun. All those will be on the first exam. If not all of them, most of them. So pay attention to your classes, at least take good notes, and if you suck at notes, just at least read it and absorb the knowledge that they give you. Because there's like I said, there's a little student knowledge that you have to read. Not a bad time. You literally just do that for the day, and then you go to sleep. Like, you just eat chow all day, and then you do the test. That's it. After that, you have this class called TCCC. I'm sure you guys know about it. I'm pretty sure Paris Island has to do that too, so I'm pretty sure everyone watching this will probably know what TCCC is. It's actually pretty cool. Very much of a practical class. You practice it quite a bit. You get taught the ins and outs of like what not to do and what to do during a life-threatening situation, and what to do if you're like in a firefight and someone's injured. It's pretty cool. definitely something to call back on if you ever find yourself in a firefight, and one of your other Marines is injured. Pretty cool class. After that, on T12, you'll get 2 classes. And I should emphasize, after you do your TCCC class, you'll prepare to hike up the Alpha Shelf. Now, this is your 3rd to last hike. The Alpha Shelf hike is not too bad, but a lot of people really didn't like it because of how steep the Alpha Shelf can be. I didn't think it was that bad. Like I said, every hike is a little bit of a sleigh, but you know, it's a hike. You're never going to be super comfortable. You hike up to the Alpha Shelf, and then you set up your bivouac site, and then you get 2 classes one on managing your signature. So like, obviously, like if you're in enemy territory, you're not going to eat an MRE and then just throw the trash everywhere, right? Like obviously, if they see an American MRE, like trash in enemy territory, they're like, oh wow, there might be Americans here. Also, like where to like pee and poop and all that stuff. It's whatever. You're managing your signature, basically. You're not leaving stuff out. You're hiding your stuff. You're camouflaging yourself. It's pretty cool. Fieldcraft. So the next class is fieldcraft. You're gonna learn how to set up like different types of like tarp shelters. Those are actually pretty cool. You get to actually go out in like the woods and actually set up a little thing, and then one of your CIs will walk up and like say, hey, it's pretty good. It's like a good little tarp shelter. Or they're gonna be like, wow, like this sucks, and they're gonna like tell you what to do next time. You don't really get to use it that often, but it's whatever. It's a cool thing. After you sleep in your bivouac site for that night, on T13 you'll begin your field exercise. Through T13 to T15, that is your force on force stuff. So force on force stuff, best way I can describe it, you're basically in like a simulation like war with the other platoons. So my company, I was in Kilo Company, we had 3 platoons. So first platoon and the first half of second platoon got split up into lead series, and the second half of second platoon and third platoon got put into follow series. I was in follow series. Basically what you have to do is for follow series, we had to defend first. I believe that lead series probably did the offensive first. I mean, that's what I would imagine. We slept through the night and nothing happened, so I don't know. But basically, you find these little foxholes. They're kind of pre-dug out, but not really, because it's obvious that they've been like digging them out constantly and then filling them back up. So the like dirt there is like super like malleable. So what they ended up doing was you're issued these little like shovels, these like collapsible shovels. You'll get those, and then you'll actually dig out your own foxhole. It's pretty cool. You don't do like the 2-man fighting hole. You just do like this foxhole where like you both can lay down. You're gonna have a partner in your foxhole, and for most of the time you're gonna be posting what they call 50% security. So one person has to stay awake and post security, and the other person can sleep while that other person is posting security. A lot of people will tell you don't be the one to like have a hole where both people are asleep, because these CIs will mess with you. And by that I mean like they'll take your rifle, or they'll like, I don't know, they'll do some weird stuff to you. I know that like a lot of CIs have been fired for like going pretty overboard when like 2 Marines were asleep in a foxhole. All I know is just you shouldn't be the person to find out. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, after we defended for the night, then we were told which which squads would be doing what during our offensive. So we posted security on T13, and we did some patrolling in a few fire teams. And then after, oh yeah, and then I forgot, we got a class on patrolling and defending a position that day too. After that, we actually did patrol. You know, hand arm signals, all the stuff you did at the Crucible. T14, that's when we actually like hunkered down and like did 100% security. It was like our defense day, I guess. And on T15 was our actual offense day. So that was part of the main effort. We woke up at like 5 a.m. or so, and we decided to siege the enemy at around 7 a.m. So we went like, we made this like huge flank. We had to hike a bit, but we did this huge flank around the enemy's position because they have a similar like setup where they like dig foxholes in a separate place. And then we went all the way around, and we basically just took them by storm. We they had a bit of offensive on us the day prior, but we managed to suppress it really easily. They only had an offensive for about 20 minutes before I guess they either died too much or they just like gave up. I don't know. Obviously, you're fighting each other with blanks. It's like a, oh, I shot you, no, I shot you kind of thing. So obviously you're not shooting each other with real live rounds, of course. But we stormed in, we breached their defenses, and we took out their machine guns. And then we made it to the heart of their defense before one of the corporals actually picked up one of the 240 Bravos and just sprayed at all of us. Like, he literally held it by the bipod and with the trigger, or I think it was right-handed. So he held it like this, and he just sprayed at all of us, and he said, "You're all dead." So we had to fireman's carry each other like halfway back to our position. That was a mighty slay. That was probably the worst I've felt throughout the entire cycle, honestly. But it was fun. Our CIs, they were making a good time about it, so I liked it. I think it was a good time. Okay, after you do those, that force on force thing, it's probably gonna feel like the longest 3 nights of your whole cycle, honestly. But it is a fun time. After you finish that, you go back from the Alpha Shelf. On the route back is so much easier than the hike up. It's like really fucking easy. But on T16, it's another Saturday, so you're gonna do some study time and you're gonna do some weapons maintenance. Pretty easy. At this point, your rifle's probably gonna be filthy, so you're gonna have to clean it real good. And on T17, that Sunday, you're gonna take your second exam. Yeah, pretty easy. You're just gonna, all the classes you've taken since that point, I think it's been like rope, what else? TCCC, managed signature, field craft, patrolling, defend a position. Yeah, all those classes are gonna be on your exam too. And yeah, it's not too hard. Just take it, finish it, you'll be done. By the way, if you fail these exams, you'll get an opportunity to retest, so don't stress. On T18 and T19, you'll be doing your live runs of conduct fire and movement and shooting a machine gun. Pretty cool stuff. It just takes a long time, as usual, per any table. It's probably going to be the most fun you'll have during the whole cycle because, honestly, shooting a machine gun, you can't beat it. You're shooting a machine gun. Fire and movement's pretty cool. The biggest thing they stress about that is literally you will have a sandbag that you'll stand like in front of. If you're on a double sandbag, run towards the double sandbag. If you start veering off to the left or right, these CIs will grab you and drag you across the deck. Do not like veer off to the sides. They're super serious about that. Also, like, if you're gonna have to run, so if you run and your muzzles swing to the left and right, they will grab you and they will throw you. So don't do that. Run with your rifle straight to the deck, even as you're running. There's gonna be some sway, but control it as best as you can. Don't let it sway like this. They're gonna yell at you for that. After you do all that stuff, from T18 to T19, you're gonna go back to the squad base and you're gonna turn in all your supply stuff, and you're gonna deissue your rifle. They're gonna make you clean the life out of your rifle before you turn it in. After that, on T21, you do your ECC and retention. So you basically review your instructors, and you just oh yeah, they test random Marines on like random subjects. They take like 10 from every platoon, and they just see who remembered what throughout all the classes, just to like grade the instructors like job well done. I think our retention rate was like a 70%. The instructors were pretty upset about that, so I imagine they usually do better than that. After that, on A4 after T21, you graduate. So that is the whole MCT cycle. I literally read every single day that we had. Like, I literally took notes of the entire schedule right here. What do you think? Is there anything else of note? I took some decent notes on the whole thing, so let me just share some wisdom right quick. Let's see. So you'll spend 11 days in the 52 area, assuming that's where your squad bay is. I believe that every squad bay for MCT, SOI West is there in the 52 area. Basically, you're going to spend 11 days out of the 25 in the squad bays. You're going to spend 4 days in the LFAM range, so those tables that I was talking about. You're going to spend 4 days there, so that's 15 days. Let me think. On the Alpha Shelf, you're going to spend 4 days there, so now we're up to 19. And then you're going to spend 2 days on the R218A, the machine gun range. And that adds up to 21, but I'm not including the admin days. So A1 through 3 are your first days, and then A4 is your graduation. So that adds up to 25. So that's the 25-day cycle in total. Not bad, pretty easy. Don't let it stop you from going to your schoolhouse. I haven't heard of someone getting recycled, but I know that people can get held back. Here's some wisdom as well. If you're a dude, behave yourself. Reason I say that is because some dudes got legitimately held back to the purgatory that is Lima Company because they decided to be stupid with the females. It's sad to say, but some Marines decided to be stupid, and you share the same building with the females, and there's a partition to this head, and it's this like decently thin partition. It's made out of like cardboard, and some Marine decided to take like pencil and just stab holes through it to peek through like a complete creep, and he got called out on it, and he is being investigated by Sapper right now. He's probably still stuck in Lima as I know it. There was another Marine that decided to touch a female's thigh without consent. Regardless, even if you have consent, you can't do stuff like that because there's absolutely no dating in MCT. Not that you're gonna find the love of your life there anyway. What else? That dude's also being investigated. What else? This dude named Bolton. I call him out because he was universally hated by the entire company. He called one of the female squad leaders a little girl, which was incredibly insulting. What else? There was another Marine that made an incredibly egregious joke about someone's fiance. Awful things. Let me think. Oh, there was like a creep that walked up to the female's bivouac site in the field and like just like tried to like spy on them. I think he probably was using his MVD or something to like look at the female. It was really creepy. I don't know. Regardless, if you're a dude, just don't be weird. Like, the females are Marines. Treat them as your peers. Don't do anything weird or say anything weird around them. They're like you're gonna have females around you your entire career. If you're weird to them in MCT, you're gonna be a problem in the fleet and in your schoolhouse and all that. So don't do that. Know how to behave yourself. Yeah, that's as far as MCT goes. Not too hard. Behave yourself, and you know, try to enjoy it. It's if you're a pogue and you're never gonna see the fleet, or not the fleet, see the field too much, try to enjoy it, because you're probably not going to be shooting rifles much except for your quals every year. So just try to enjoy it. Now moving on, as far as where I am, so if you're here for MCT, the rest of this video is just going to be where I'm at now, just in my personal career. So if you're not interested in that, no worries. Appreciate you watching so far. So where I'm at right now, I actually got stationed at 29 Palms for my schoolhouse. Right after I finished my graduation at SOI West, graduation, they just gave me my orders and told me to leave, pretty much. So I got on a bus straight to 29 Palms. It's about like a 3 or 4 hour drive. And yeah, I got off. I made it to student reception, and I was there for about a week. Not bad. You actually get like these like barracks. It's not too far from this. These are actually considered like the nicer barracks. I'd give you a bit of a tour around, but it's really not that interesting. It's whatever. It's just a little barracks room. But at SRC, you'll get your own like bed space. You'll get your own like wall locker again. All that stuff. You're never gonna be in a squad bay again. Hopefully. I mean, unless you're in holding for like Lima Company or something like that. I don't know. But I hope nobody watching this video ends up in Lima Company. It's like a Marine purgatory. Regardless, you shouldn't be able to see a squad bay again after you get to your schoolhouse. Anyway, I made it to SRC. After about a week or so, I dropped to AMAT, just Alpha Platoon Marines Awaiting Training. And now I'm waiting to pick up basic electronics course for 2800 ground electronics maintenance. So for anyone that was unfamiliar, I did get reclassed from intelligence because I have foreign-born family and I'm a dual citizen myself in Brazil. So I got reclassed to ground electronics maintenance. I'm not upset about it. It actually seems like a pretty cool MOS. I might have mentioned that in my earlier video. But yeah, I'm just waiting to pick up class. I think I pick up class January 11th. Today is the 23rd of November. So it's gonna be a minute. I'm trying to pick up recruiter's assistance back in Texas. The gunnery sergeant in charge of that said that he's actually going to turn in for RA, so I should be good to go on that. But regardless, I'm gonna be going on leave here in a minute, if that doesn't end up working out for whatever reason. So I'll give y'all an update after I finish recruiter's assistance if I end up doing that, because it seems like a really awesome opportunity. In case you haven't realized, I'm super you know, motivated about the Marine Corps. I've been really enjoying my time here. You know, I'm assuming anyone watching this video probably is as well. So if you can do RA and you didn't do it after boot camp, I highly recommend it. You'll probably be waiting for class anyway. Unless your classes pick up super fast, then it's not worth it. Obviously get to the fleet as fast as you can. But in my case, my schoolhouse is like a year long, and I'm gonna be awaiting training for like almost 2 months. So you know, I have good reason to. If your schoolhouse is super long and you're waiting, might as well. But yeah, that's pretty much where I am now. You know, that is where I stand, and you know, I hope that everything keeps going up, because the more I've been in, the more freedoms I keep getting, and the more, you know, concepts I'm grasping. You know, there's still awkward moments, like I walk up and like I assume someone's a junior Marine and they end up being an officer or something like that, or an NCO or something. Awkward moments like that are moments that you kind of can't avoid as a junior Marine. It is what it is. But I'm adapting. It's pretty cool. You know, having the ability to wake up on your own time and, you know, be able to hygiene on your own time. That concept alone, going from boot camp MCT to here, is just something that is a game changer. It adds so much motivation back to the soul. It's really enjoyable. So yeah, I think you guys will enjoy that anyway. Regardless, I appreciate y'all kind of keeping up with my adventure. If you just came here for MCT and were curious, no problem with that. But I figured I'd make a little video on it, so good to go. Y'all take care, and if you're a Marine just starting out, or for some reason you found my channel because you're interested in joining the Marines, awesome. Hope it pans out for you. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. So take care. See you next time.